Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to see a game which I played against a 1900 plus rated opponent in chess.com. So without any further ado, let's dive straight into it. I played a standard Italian game, nothing new in this, all standard moves, all book moves till now. Yeah, this is where the complications start happening. Here you can do several things. You can either come back and let him take the pawn, and then you take the pawn and let him have this pawn, and then develop your rook. This is one variation which you can play, but you will be a pawn down, unfortunately. And another variation that you can play is you can take the pawn. When it takes back, you can come back with the bishop and later on to this position, so that this bishop becomes a very powerful bishop, and probably it can attack the h7 pawn, and the h7 pawn, once it gets weak, you can also attack with the queen once the knight moves from this particular position. Okay, so let's see what happened in the game. I took the pawn and he took with the knight. This was a very interesting move. I have seen this very rarely. I think higher rated players play this particular move in general. Otherwise, what I would have seen usually is that people take with this pawn and they prefer to have two pawn islands. In general, this one also they're having two pawn islands only, but this feels like it is having a three pawn island because this is an isolated pawn and this can be attacked in the future. Okay, so standard moves. I don't know why this is inaccuracy. For me, it's a pretty normal move. This seems like an inaccuracy because then the knight cannot go back in this position, and this pawn in the future becomes weak according to the engine, because I can bring back the bishop and then here, and then we can implement the idea that we were discussing earlier. So yeah, let's see what did I do. Okay, standard moves. What I observed in this game that I was a bit more reliant, like a bit more resilient in this particular position because I did not want to trade off pieces very easily, and I wanted to attack as much as possible, and I also wanted to take off his bishop for my knight because this bishop is defending this pawn, and I kind of wanted to make his king weak. Standard moves, nothing new. This is a great move. I don't see why it is a great move. In general, in every position, whenever you play f6, it is considered to be a very weak move, and you should never play this because it leaves this pawn hanging, and then king is king becomes weak on this diagonal, and especially when I have this bishop in this diagonal, f6 for me is not a great move, but for engine it says it's a great move. Okay, let's see what did I play. I just came back. I don't know why queen d7 is a mistake. It doesn't make sense. Queen g4 is also a missed win. Okay, which would knight d2 would have been better. Let's see. Let's analyze this move. It's all engine, yeah. I don't know why knight d2 would have been better. Probably the engine is planning to get the knight to c4 and then attack this pawn in the future. But it is very difficult to see these type of moves where you have to bring the knight back, especially as a human. So okay, let's see what is happening in this position. Actually, this queen g4 is not only a miss. I think it's also a blunder because what will you do when you play this? Like you can actually pin both my knight and my queen. Rook g7 is a mistake. f5 is the best, as I told you. f5 is obviously the best. I missed it completely in the mist of flow. Okay, then I just took the pawn. I let him take. What my plan was that if I take the knight and if he takes with the pawn, his queen will be hanging. But I did not see that he can just take with the queen. This was my mistake only. And trading the bishop for this knight was, I think, a big mistake from my end because this bishop was a very strong bishop and should not be traded at any cost, and especially for this knight, which is actually not doing anything. Even though it is sitting at the center of the board, it is actually pretty much useless. Okay, this is where things start getting complicated. Like, I wanted to pin this guy so that I can take the queen, but that was not happening. Yeah, I did not move my queen. I saw this f7 move and I still did not move my queen. I don't know why in the game. Okay, now this is where things start getting interesting. Yeah, I exchange sacrifices because I wanted to have this particular pawn and attack him a bit. And then once he does this, what I do is I go in with the knight. I threaten a checkmate on f7. And the only viable option for him is to take with the bishop, because if he takes with the queen, I'll just take the queen. So I jump in with the knight, which is a great move. Cool. There's a check, and here is where my opponent goes actually wrong. The thing is that what I would have played in my opponent's place would be king to g7. I would happily take this pin, no problem for me. But I would play king to g8. That is what I would have played. But okay, my opponent took the queen. What my opponent saw was once he plays king g7, he saw this move, which is a brilliant move. So this is the only move why I created this whole video, is to show you this brilliant move. But this brilliant move does not make sense to any human being alive, because once you defend it with playing this move, rook f8, what are you actually doing? You will just keep giving checks or what? Like there's nothing that you can do here. Like there's no attack for white. One more thing that you can do is that once the why computer says it's a brilliant move, because normally humans would see this check, takes and mate. That is the only reason why the computer would see that. And okay, unfortunately my this guy 1900 plus, obviously I don't know why he miscalculated it. He saw that brilliant move and he took the bishop here. And I was a happy man having a queen, and I just converted this endgame. How did I convert? Did they show anything? Yeah, I just took the rook, then I kept taking one of the pawns. Yeah, that is how the game ended. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you had fun. Have a wonderful day ahead. See ya.